So the Congresswomen, AOC and Ilhan Omar and several others were arrested apparently outside the Supreme Court building. They put their hands behind their backs when the cops led them away. There's only one problem here. The squad members were not actually handcuffed. That charade soon becoming clear when AOC raised her fist to supporters and then put her fist back behind her back. New York Republican Nicole Malliotakis is with us now, and good morning to you. What do you call that? I mean, some might call it a charade. Others may say, no, they were out there justifying their First Amendment rights on abortion, et cetera. What would you say about it?
Look, it just goes to show you that Democrats think it's politically expedient for them. It actually improves their electability when they are arrested. Bill de Blasio did the same thing in 2013, and he soared to #1 in the polls when he ran for mayor. It just goes to show you that they are trying to cater to a radical base, people who are supporting lawlessness, same people who rioted in the streets of our cities in 2020, the same people who are raising money to release criminals on bail, the same people who supported the defund the police movement. You don't see Republicans purposely trying to get arrested. So it's just a different philosophy. It's a far left thing. But what I will say more importantly, they don't want to just intimidate the court. They actually want to pack the court. In recent weeks, she has said it again, and that is a page right out of the socialist playbook of Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. We can never allow that to happen. In Venezuela, they packed the court 20 to 32 justices, 45,000 cases, and he in Maduro's favor. It's how they destroyed the richest country in South America. So people need to be aware of that.
It's also outrageous how they basically pull off this stunt and then they fake outrage about being called out on it. Here's AOC on her Instagram yesterday.
Republicans' favorite hobby is to make conspiracy theories out of everything to distract you and keep you from talking about what's actually important, which is the fact that they are trying to take away your right to bodily autonomy. If I was faking that, why would I intentionally fist pump somebody? It's so silly.
It's just so silly. It indeed is actually, she's right. It is so silly. And there are no consequences, right, for them if they get arrested. If your constituents get arrested, they get booked, they get a mugshot, it goes on their record, and they have to take time out of work. This is actually political theater for them to be able to do it. Let's just put up a list of all the people that went out and got arrested here. This is call for number 3. You can see him here. And it is their right. They can protest, but to pretend as that they are getting arrested and that it has consequences for them, that is not true. There's also a tweet from Shutdown DC saying that we disrupted Brett Kavanaugh's steak dinner and we will disrupt the congressional baseball game. The monsters tearing apart our country deserve no peace. Congresswoman, I don't think this is going to let up. I think it's only going to get worse. How do you see it?
Well, I think it would be great if those members of Congress were actually in the Capitol trying to work with us to address the soaring inflation, the high gas prices, and all the other crises that the American people are facing right now. That's what they really want us to focus on. And the Department of Justice needs to speak out against those who are making threats, intimidating the court, issuing bounties if you can identify where a justice is at a certain time and how long they will be there. I mean, this is really dangerous stuff. And again, we're supposed to be a separate branch of government. You need to let the Supreme Court make its decisions. And yes, we can always legislate and address certain issues, but we should be doing it in the Capitol, not in front of the Supreme Court. It's
interesting how some of the media played this. ABC tweeted, Reps AOC, Omar, other House Democrats arrested in abortion rights protest. That's from ABC. But the New York Post says AOC fakes being handcuffed after arrested abortion rights protests. And apparently there's a report that when the Capitol Police took him in to take their picture, they were taking selfies with them when they were in custody, quote unquote. Just what a difference.
Hard to do that when you're handcuffed.
Hard to do that. Meanwhile, here in New York, the DA has dropped the charges against that bodega employee. The mayor, Eric Adams, said the DA, in my opinion, made the right decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. The DA did make the right decision. This was an individual who acted in self-defense. And you know what? It is the politicians in New York, the woke left, the woke DAs, the lenient judges that have created an environment where people feel less safe. Look, people are going to try to defend themselves if the city is not going to protect them. And so we need to empower our police to be able to keep our streets safe. We have to change the bail law to stop releasing career criminals back onto the streets, including the one who attacked Mr. Alba. So there's something that can be done here and needs to be done here, but we need people like Governor Kathy Hochul and the state legislature to do the right thing. We need the DA now to not just drop those charges against Mr. Alba, but to prosecute actual criminals. Stop being so lenient. Stop releasing them back onto the streets. We need to hold them and set bail when we know that they have been a repeated problem in our society. And if they need mental health, then we need to make sure they get that. The thing is that it's a revolving door in New York, and as long as it continues to be that way, as long as the left continues to embolden criminals, people are going to feel the need to act upon themselves to defend themselves.
I would just add, to date, there's been no action taken against the woman who was in there who stabbed the bodega worker 5 times.
Exactly, and that just goes to show you, that's why we call him backwards Bragg. That's why we call him backwards Bragg, because the law-abiding citizens that are trying to protect themselves are the ones that he seems to go after, while the people who are committing crimes repeatedly on our streets are being let go. Kathy Hochul should fire him. We don't have a recall law in New York. She can fire him. She won't, but Lee Zeldin, who's running against her this November, said he will. So let's see what the people of New York decide to do.
We shall.
Congresswoman, great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.